Yo, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC video. I'm your host Jose Rocks, and today we're going to be ranking the Regulation E Pokemon that just got announced in the DLC. So there's not many of them, but there's enough to where I want to go ahead and do rankings for it. And we're going to be using the, what's this called again? The tier maker to make them. So I want to go through my tiers really quick before I start to make them, and we will be using this alongside Showdown, so I can talk about some of the sets if we have enough time to do that. So I can get into some of the sets, some of the Pokemon I think are interesting, right? I'll try to give like a set for the most popular ones and see how fast we can do that. But so starting off from the top, we have the S tier. These are pretty much going to be the must-have answers for, and pretty much the busted Pokemon, right? These are the ones that are going to be the cream of the crop, that are the best Pokemon, and the ones that you're definitely going to see have an impact. And then next we have A. So A is going to be for pretty much good on every team. These Pokemon are winners, whether they were in past formats or we know that coming in they're going to be decently good. These Pokemon are pretty much, if you put them on your team, they're going to help you win. They're not things that you always need answer for, but they're very good, complementary mons that go alongside, really good role mons. The next one we're gonna have B, which is plays his role well, reliable. These are the Pokemon that you can fit on any team as well, but they're not gonna be as good on every single team like A, but they're like good. They're good in their role. You know what I'm saying? They're good for what they want to do, and they're not gonna really bring your team down. Next we have C. So C is pretty much fits on one type of team, the niche Pokemon. These Pokemon really only work on one team, whether it's like a Trick Room team or a Weather team or a Tailwind team. You can't really splash them on anything else. If you do try to put them on another team, then they're really not going to work out that well for you. So next we have D, which is pretty much decent, but something does its job better, or pretty much a wannabe. Now these are pretty much going to be Pokemon that there's really no reason to use them, because there's a Pokemon that fills this exact role that this wants to do, but it does it better, right? And then next we have F. So F is pretty much if you want to win, if you want to win, don't use these Pokemon. They're pretty much garbage. They're not good. You're not going to be able to do anything with it. And I do apologize if some of these are your favorite Pokemon that fall into this category, but they're not going to be able to do anything for you, right? And if you want to have fun, winning is fun. These Pokemon are not going to help towards that cause, right? So that's it. We're going to get into this ranking ladder. So starting with Arbok, I'm actually going to be using my Team Rocket team later on in the season. I saw that's a +1. He made a Team Rocket team, and I was very intrigued by it. I may just use his rental code, or I may make my own variant of it just to see. So pretty much Arbok is on that team. It does get Intimidate, so it is pretty cool. It has no attack stats, right? It's like it's nothing there, right? It gets intimidated itself, unless it has like the choice band. It's not really doing any damage, right? But I'm gonna say C, because it does fit on one team, and that's that Team Rocket team. And that's pretty much all you would use it for, was for that specific niche, right? And so next we have Alolan Sandslash. Now, Alolan Sandslash is pretty cool in my opinion, right? That's the first Pokemon I want to, pull up right here. Alolan Sandslash, in my opinion, is one of my top 10 favorite Pokemon, just aesthetically. I like the idea of Ice and Steel. Now, this Pokemon can be good. One of the most common Pokemon in the format is going to be Fluttermane, plus with Rillaboom being probably the next best, one of the best common Pokemon. Due to it getting Grassy Glide now, this thing just eats Grassy Glides all day and just deals with Rillaboom and Fluttermane, right? And those are two common things in the format. Ogerpon can't really deal with it well, the grass variant or the water variant. Now, it can't really hit the water variant either. Well, with ice it can hit it neutrally, but and it can hit the rock one, right? But the fire one has a good matchup into you, of course, but you're able to deal with the other ones. Other than that, like this would let's say Assault Vest, and then you go 4 attacks. You can go Icicle Crash. I would say Rock Slide. I think Rocks is good for this Pokemon. You could go Drill Run, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think Ice Shard would be better, just so you have some type of priority. And Iron Head, right? So you can one shot. Now, Crash and Iron Head allows you to deal a lot of damage. You always want to go pretty much max Adamant And if you go with max speed, you have enough speed to outspeed everything while you're on in the snow, right? And then you definitely want to go for the slush rush, right? And this is a pretty good set. I would say probably go rock terror so you can like spam the rocks. You could also like do like a swords dance variant. It does get swords dance, but you probably get rid of that. You could go life orb too. I do recommend the rock slide though. You need to have, you know, that really fast chance to spam rocks. So you could probably drop the ice shard and go for protect in that slot, and then you can probably play like this because you might not always need ice shard since you are gonna be usually going fast. But that's just in case if you want to deal more damage, right? Then you can also go like ice terror to dip more into your icicle crash. But that's up to you. I would recommend like maybe a defense like rock is a good defensive typing on this in regards to beating the Ogerpon, right? The fire Ogerpon is gonna hit you with a fire move, and it's not gonna go for a grass move into you because you resist that. So you turn it to rock. That gives you a chance to outspeed it, hit it with a rock slide stab. If you don't KO it, you can KO it the next turn, right? Because you outspeed it, and now it wasted its turn going for a fire move into you that you resist now due to the rocks. So that's the niche for that. But I think Alolan Sandslash is a good Pokemon. I'm gonna put I don't think it just fits. Well, I don't want to say it's a C. I think it's gonna be B. It plays its role well, and its role is to be a fast user, weather abusing Mon, right? And weather abusing Mons, it can only work on a snow team, but you can have like a pseudo snow team with other good Pokemon around it, and not just go onto a full snow team, right? That way you don't have to like, you know, put it in the C tier where it fits on one type of team. You can have like Alolan Sandslash, Alolan Ninetales, and just add them to like another core Pokemon, right? And it's gonna play its role pretty well. And we have regular Sandslash here. Regular Sandslash, it's gonna be on the snow team. I don't think it does anything better. The ground typing, I mean, what do you beat? Like, you're not really beating. What's really weak in the format to ground? I can't really like. Chimpow's not. Dragonite's not. Fluttermane's not. Of course, you can deal damage because you're a physical type attacker. But even like the 100 attack stat and you're not really hitting stuff for super effective is not good. Ground coverage, having ground coverage is good for like when you want to have just a coverage move ground, or you're like Landorus, right? Or like Great Tusk in a format that is good. Other than that, like having a low attacking stat with ground is not going to be good. Even though you hit like Iron Hands are super effective, Iron Hands can just tear in the grass and just drain punch you, right? And you never win in a 1v1. So I would think that this only works on like a sand team if you want to try to use it. It does give access to like, you know, Drill Run, Earthquake, high horsepower, Gunk Shot, Knockoff. I guess fast knockoffs would be decent. You could tear in the Ghost and go for Shadow Claw, one shot Fluttermane. But that's pretty much it. But you really don't want to be just voicing your terror through that. So I would say that this Sandslash is probably gonna go in C. Right around same tier as Arbok. Now Clefable, I don't think it's that good. Like Clefable, it's never been good because you just always rather use Clefairy, right? And Clefairy, I don't think it's on this list, so we can't really rank Clefairy because Clefairy would probably be an A ranking, right? I don't know why it's not on this list. It is one of the ones returning, but we'll go Clefairy. Unaware, I guess you can kind of play it like a Dondozo and Magic Guard. Like you're not, like you can go Magic Guard with Life Orb, so you're not taking chip. But it doesn't really have like the special attack. Like 95 is not that great, even though it gets like good coverage. And you want to go special. Man, it gets amazing coverage, but it's just not doing like just. You much rather use like Cresselia, right? If you want to go for like Ice Beam and stuff like that, it doesn't get Trick Room. So like I don't really know what this Pokemon is really capable of doing. It was okay in the Dynamax era because you can Dynamax and then go for like all those different max moves with the different covers that you have. And I guess Unaware you can kind of like ignore stat boost, but I really don't think it's that good. We'll say D because it's what it does. I just feel like there's a lot more Pokemon that want to do the same thing. Alolan Ninetales, I think it's gonna be one of the S tiers. This Pokemon is really good. Like setting up Aurora Veil, one quick set that you know I want to use probably my first set before I start to explore this Pokemon more. Just be Focus Sash, you know, max speed, not max attack, max special attack, and then we're gonna go with the Timid Nature, and then just go like Blizzard, Moonblast, Encore, and Auroraville, right? And I think this will probably Terra Ghost, just so you get around that. I think this is a pretty standard, set, and you have fast Auroraville, and you activate like a lot of snow users like Sandslash, Excalibur, Chien-Pao, and just making them a lot more bulky, right? But it's a really good support Pokemon. Like, you can go deeper into its kit. It gets freeze dry. It gets icy wind. Like, it gets a lot of good things. You can drop Encore and then go for something else. Like, you can Calm Mind with it. Fake Tears, Helping Hand, Nasty Plot, like Substitute. This thing gets a really good toolkit. Baby Doll Eyes, which gives you priority, so you can drop their attack by 1. Hypnosis, Howl, in case you want to boost like the physical attackers around you. Hypnosis, Imprisons, so you can stop them from like going for similar moves that you have. Like, it gets a really good support kit, right? Like, this is gonna be and it also gets Disable. Encore Disable is crazy. Yeah, so this thing gets a really good support kit. It's gonna be S. You're gonna see this a lot. Abomasnow is gonna be completely obsolete now that this thing is in the game. You have no reason to run Abomasnow over this. It has better typing, stronger special attack, and faster, better kit, right? Unless you just want to run like a Trick Room Snow team. Other than that, you're gonna want to use this one. Now, regular Ninetales, I would say it's gonna be C tier. It's crazy how far it falls off. It only fits on Sun teams. It's a fast Sunsetter, but I think Torkoal is better because Sun teams kind of want to have like a Trick Room mode, and it kind of can't play that, right? So I think Ninetales will probably just stay in C. Poliwrath, Swift Swim user. It's a wannabe. It's a Swift Swim user, but you much rather, like, if you're gonna use a water type and fighting type in the rain, just use Urshifu. Urshifu might not be as fast, but the automatic crit is gonna like have way more value than anything that this Poliwrath can do, right? And that's just my opinion on that. Let me change this song really quick. Give me 1 second. Take a break. I want to play that. Okay. All right. So next we have Victory Bell. Victory Bell is going to be another one of those ones that's going to go on the Team Rocket team. You can use it on the Sun team, but it's not even that fast, right? It's much better Chlorophyll users. I would say if it wasn't for it fitting on the Team Rocket team and being able to be well in that niche, then it would go into D, right? Because it's just much better Chlorophyll users. Golem is gonna be in D. It's a wannabe. It gets sturdy. It gets like explosion stuff. But to be honest, this Golem is not on this list. But like, you pretty much just gonna want to go explosion, right? But then you should just really just use this Golem, right? And then go Terra Electric. All right, Life Orb. So you don't. I wouldn't go Choice Band, right? Because you don't want to be locked into that in case they protect. And then you just galvanize, so your normal moves become electric, and then you just go explosion, right? And then you can go like Earthquake, Gyro Ball, or Heavy Slam, whichever you choose. And then I would say electric type attack, so Wild Charge, right? So now you have pretty much good coverage, and then when you just need to go boom, then you just go explosion. You could drop Gyro Ball for like protect, and just play it like this. And it's just an interesting rock type. Actually, since it's not even ground, right? This one's ground, so it's rock. I actually wish it was electric and ground. I think that would be really good for it. Like, it's kind of similar to Sandy Shocks. But since you get rock stab, I would say go Rock Slide, right? And just, go boom. Rock Slide and it's out of Trick Room with Life Orb is pretty strong. It's base 120, so it's gonna be hitting pretty hard. But yeah, your best bet is to go, with the electric. I wouldn't recommend this one. I mean, it gets sturdy, but this Golem is just relatively better. And it's not on this list, so I can't rank it. But if I was to rank that, I would say it's I would say a B. It's an explosion bot, and it does play that role pretty well. All right, so moving on, we have Dipplin. So Dipplin is gonna has the controversy of whether it has an evolution or not. It's pretty obvious that it does, and the fact that it does means that it can use Eviolite, right? So I feel like it's C tier. I feel like it fits on one type of team, and that team is gonna be Pokemon that don't really have um, the best accuracy on their moves, like Iron Bundle, Heatran with Heat Wave misses. I think it'll be a lot better in a restricted format because it'll kind of play like a support role with Groudon, where you helping Groudon hit those precipice blades a lot easier, right? Then it can be a threat because then you can use this move to drop the speed of things and like kind of like play that around Groudon since Groudon's usually not the fastest. And I think it'll be great support for like those Sun teams with Groudon, right? I don't think it's really that good right now, but in a restricted format, like support Pokemon are so good in restricted format because average Pokemon or regular strong Pokemon just kind of get power crept, and then the only thing that really matters at that point is like the restricteds and the Pokemon that can hang with the restricteds, and then support Pokemon just becomes so much more valuable in those restricted formats, right? Because they just support the restricteds. Sinistee is really good, right? I would say it's an A tier Pokemon, right? Matcha Gacha, like its toolkit is nice too. Sinistra, yep. So I'm thinking of a Rocky Helmet set with Matcha Gacha, Scald, because it gets one of the users that gets Scald, which is insane. Stream Sap, and then like another filler move, probably like Trick Room or something like that, depending on what kind of team you want to play on. You can go with Rage Powder too. And I think this is a really good Pokemon. Just go like Water Terror. Now you can't get hit by the fire moves, and now you're adding stab to one of your moves. Like you don't even need to run the Ghost Terror, right? And like this Pokemon, like base 121 attack, you don't have to invest to a special attack for it to do damage, and you can just put the rest in bulk, which makes it like if you go pretty much max HP and then put a little bit in defense and the rest in special defense, now you're like deceptively bulky, right? And you're able to heal yourself back with Strange Sap and Matcha Gacha and burn physical attackers with 2 different moves. And now you're dealing Rocky Helmet Chip. Like this is just a really good Pokemon. It's a good support, and it's gonna be really good in its format. Urshifu is not gonna like dealing with this, the water variant. It just really can't touch it. Now Dark Urshifu kind of dumps on this one, but you have matchups that can play against you. You can tear in the water to try to survive, break its sash and potentially burn it or Stray Sap it, heal back up and just win the 1v1 because it's gonna chip itself with Rocky Helmet, and then you just Stray Sap your way back up, right? And that way you can kind of, well, it crits through the attack drops, right? So it's kind of like a neutral matchup, right? Because it crits you. If it keeps hitting Wicked Blow, you can't win that matchup. You can only burn it. So I guess you can hope for a burn. It probably overall wins that matchup of going back and forth with Sinistine. Because I feel like how do you pronounce this thing's name? I think I'm saying it wrong. It's Sinistra, whatever you call it though. I feel like it's a really good Pokemon, but it wants to beat Urshifu. I don't think it can beat Urshifu Dark, but it can beat Water. But it also beats Rillaboom. It does well into like Flutter Mane if you tear it and you do want to run the Ghost typing, right, to get around that. It does well in the Chien-Pao with the Water Terror, and you can Strange Sap it down. All those physical attackers that can't automatically crit you, like Strange Sap and a good Terror on this thing is gonna be able to win the war of attrition with those Pokemon, right? Which is really clutch. Alright, so next Okidogi. I think Okidogi is gonna go into, I would say it's a B tier mon. I think it's a B tier mon. I think it plays the role of what it wants to do pretty well, which is a bulk up user with like leftovers. It's not a D tier, so I can't put it as a wannabe, even though what it does, like you really should just be using Annihilate, right? Annihilate can't get faked out. Annihilate has perfect coverage where whatever its ghost type attacks can't hit, its fighting type attacks can hit, right? Where with this, your poison and fighting, right? You're 100% walled by Godingo. You can't touch Godingo with poison or fighting, right? Which is not good in that situation. So if they have a good dingo on the field, it's gonna just 100% wall you, and that's not ideal for a Pokemon that wants to sit on the field and click bulk ups. But other than that, I still think it's a good Pokemon. If it had like a better second coverage with the fighting, or maybe just like poison and water with bulk up, I think it would be better because whatever you can't hit with the poison, you can pretty much hit with water, and you can hit it like neutrally, right? And I always thought that this Pokemon, when I saw it, would be better like into the format if it was water and fighting. Because then when Incineroar comes back, you have a Pokemon that's a perfect counter. Incineroar can intimidate you because you get an attack boost, and both of your stabs hit both of Incineroar's types, right, for super effective. And the most it can do is try to burn you, but then you can just bulk up through the burns, right, and drain punch your way back. So I think it would have been, a much better Incineroar counter. It still might be decent into Incineroar, we'll see. But I do think that the water typing would have just made this Pokemon incredible. I think it would have been better than Annihilate with that typing. Monkey Dory, I think it's going to be D tier. It's not that good. It's very frail. What it does is a fake out bot. Like, it can fake you out. But after that, it's just getting one shot, right? And if it's Focus Sash, now you're wasting your Focus Sash on a Pokemon that can only do pretty much one thing, which is fake out. And if you want a fast fake out user, like, just use, like, Infernape. Like, use, like, even a bulky fake out user, like use Rillaboom, use Iron Hands, use Salazzle, use Mienchild. Like, these are just better fake out users, and I could be proven wrong. It does have a high special attack, but I just don't. It's not the fastest, and I just don't see like it making much waves. I think Pheasantipede is going to be C tier. I'll put it right here. It's pretty much a Pokemon. It might be probably the best at C tier, better than Dipping. It's a good support Pokemon. I think it's gonna be one of those Pokemon that's good in the restricted format because it can be bulky. It can take hits with Terror, and it can set up Tailwind and then Icy Wind stuff and Poison stuff, right? So I actually think it might be B tier. Now I'm thinking about it, because you can pretty much splash this on any team, and it can help support you with speed control. It's a good speed control mod. So with that being said, I do want to probably put it in B tier. It's better than what I thought it was. But these two are definitely better than Monkey Dory is. I do like how they gave them each something, but the something that they gave Monkey Dory with like being fake out is just not good enough for it. So we have Rock Ogerpon. It's going to be C tier. It's only going to fit on one team, and that's going to be like Sand teams where you can get the double. Like when you Terror plus Sand, you get a double special defense boost, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And I think that they scuffed it with the Sturdy ability, because this thing wants to be a bulky Pokemon, right, that sits on the field. And Sturdy is for Pokemon that are frail, that can survive a hit without having to carry a Focus Sash and free up their item slot, right? And this doesn't want to be like fast and frail, in my opinion. It wants to play bulky, like, unless they gave it like a secondary ability that was offensive, like when it Terror. When it doesn't Terror, like, it just wants to be bulky. I guess like you get rid of Sturdy, but in my opinion, like, even before this Terrors, you want to build this thing bulky so it can take advantage of those special defense boosters, right? But Sturdy is just like kind of useless because you're not planning on getting one shot by anything anyway, if that makes sense to you. That's just my opinion on it. But I do think the typing is cool. Rock Grass is pretty unique, and I'll see how good it does. I'm definitely gonna build my own team around it, which pretty much I'm gonna try to build a team using a lot of the new Pokemon. Even Monkey Dory, I'm gonna build a team around Monkey Dory and give it a chance. I'm not just gonna write it off. It's not an F tier, right? It's still a D tier, but I'm gonna give it a chance and build a team around and see what it do. I'm gonna build a team around each one of the new Pokemon, just so I can have played with all of them myself. All right, we have Fire Ogerpon. Fire Ogerpon is gonna be, I think it's gonna be S tier. This Pokemon is gonna be really insane right now, right? Being able to like just remove Heatran with a fire type attack is very satisfying, and also like tearing this in the sun and going for Ivy Cudgels with the +1 attack boosted to Pokemon and just dealing like 70-80% to resistant Pokemon and one shot and everything that's neutrally is just really satisfying. This Pokemon just gives you a lot of satisfaction for removing some of these threats that are in the format, and the Fire Grass typing is really unique and really strong for it. Next we have Water Ogerpon. This is gonna be A tier. This one does this jobs better, by being like a bulky redirector with getting the defense boost when it terrestrializes, or is it a special defense boost? Was this one a defense boost? I thought this one might be the special defense boost. I can't remember which one gets which because they don't normally terror these right in game. This is one of the ones that really likes to terror, this one and the grass one. But I do know that has really good typing with its ability water absorb. It can redirect Amoonguss, it can redirect Urshifu and just like be completely immune to those attacks, right? Which is really good. And Follow Me over Rage Powder was just beautiful for this Pokemon, right? A grass type with Follow Me is like a dream come true. So I think it's A tier. I also think this one's A tier. I can't decide which one of these are better. This one's more defensive, this one's more offensive, but this one gets the speed boost and a Defiant, right? Which is really cool for it, right? So they're both, doing a lot better. It's sad for these two new Pokemon. But they will have their chance to shine, but it just won't be as easy as the other ones can. Galarian Weezing, I think it's going to be a B tier. It's one of those Pokemon that's going to play its role well. It's going to do what it's supposed to do by removing abilities and like helping Slaking and like Reggie Gigas, if it ever comes back, enable them, and also get rid of the like annoying abilities so Pokemon can, be hit by other things. Like this is going to, make Heatran just give it a little bit of nightmare. If you see it on the team, you're not going to feel comfortable with your Heatran in front of like fire types, because now you're able to get hit by those fire types, right? And that's going to be pretty much Galarian Weezing's niche. We have Weezing here. Weezing's going to also be one of those ones. I think you should just be using this one because of the typing. This Weezing's just relatively worse in the opinion. I feel like in a Dynamax format or with Zacian around, with a lot of steel types, you didn't want to use this one, you want to use this one. But with Zacian not in the format, and only the steel type Pokemon that's in the format is really Heatran and Gholdengo. And Gholdengo has, counters that are automatically just normally on teams, right? Because mostly every team has Flutter Mane, which is a direct counter into Gholdengo. Like, not like without tearing, right? Because it can hit it with Shadow Ball. Other than that, I think that the typing is just much better on this. So I don't want to put Weezing in D because it does fit on like the Team Rocket team I was telling you about. Snorlax, I'll say it's C tier. It wants to fit on those Trick Room teams and like go for Belly Drum and sweep on the Trick Room, which is kind of niche. I feel like we've seen this so many times over the years that people they know what Snorlax wants to do. It's unfortunate it lost this G-Max form, which was a really cool, different way to go about the belly drum stuff. But all in all, you know what Snorlax wants to do. I think people can explore with this bulk with like a thick fat and then like bulk up and like being really good into like Chien-Pao and like Heatran and also Fire Ogerpon, right? I think it can have a niche there, like tearing it into like a type that's hit neutrally by its stabs and then can resist like the fire and ice with this ability. I think it's cool. Ferret, D tier. Follow Me, kind of cute, but it's other better Follow Me users. Just use Ogerpon, just use Clefairy, just use Mousehold, because this thing's just gonna get one shot. I am gonna build a team around Ferret though, just for fun, just because it can be used. But like I said, it's just other stuff that's better than it, right? But it's not better than Monkey Door, so let's not do that. Let's not get too crazy there. Noctowl is gonna be our first F tier. It's a bad Pokemon. Like, it gets Tailwind, but that's it. It looks bulky, but it's really not. You can really just remove this thing. It was kind of cute in Dynamax format where you can Dynamax and go for a max Airstream and like Tailwind and then like Hypnosis and stuff. But other than that, it's not really good. Ariados, have to say nothing about it. It's a bug poison type. It's really bad. Can't really hit anything for like super effective, right? Bug poison stab is just like not good. Politoed, I think it's gonna be B tier right now, right there with Ninetales. A lot of people think that Politoed used to be the better range setter than Pelipper, but in my opinion, Pelipper in this format is really threatening. The Hurricane coverage is going to be so good for Pelipper in this upcoming format, and to like a lot of the Ogerpons and things like that. And Politoed just doesn't have that secondary stab. Now, it's not 4 times weak to electric, but with Terror, Pelipper can get around that weakness, right? Whereas Politoed just wants to play on rain team and wants to play on Paris trap teams. Now I do think it has an interesting niche that it's bringing the new teams that are going to be like Rain Parish Trap, but those can do better into like the Urshfu Water, because Urshfu Water is pretty much what stopped Paris Trap from being as good as it usually is. I'm interested to see like, you know, the Paris Trap Rain teams versus like the Sun Tripping teams and stuff like that. But I think it's gonna be pretty interesting. But I do think it's C tier though. It fits on those type of teams. Gliger, it's gonna be it's F tier. You can use an EVA on it, but at that point just use Gliscor. I think it's a lot better. I think EVA still doesn't save this Pokemon. Same with Piloswine. EVA user, just use Mamoswine. Mightyena, I'll say it's a D tier Pokemon. It gets intimidating. It's dark type, so it can't be taunted. It gets like a decent support kit. Like if we want to take a look at Mightyena, it's just its stats aren't there. Like base 90. If you're at least gonna have base 90, like just be fast, right? But you can just like fully invest in the bulk, and then go like, you know, foul play, helping hand. What else it gets like Super Fang and Taunt. You can go a set like that. It also gets Yawn, so you can drop that and just be annoying. It does get like a decent support kit, right? You can chip things half of their health. It's actually pretty interesting. Like it does like Intimidate plus like Yawn cycling, Taunt, Super Fang. This can be a disruptive Pokemon. I'm actually gonna give it a try, just to see how it is. I wouldn't say it's F tier. It's not an F tier Pokemon. It's not bad. So I think it's better than Ferret actually because it's toolkit. But it's gonna be pretty annoying. It's gonna be annoying in a way what it can do to you. It's not gonna be annoying because it's not bulky enough. So you can't just like get it off the field. Fluttermane is just gonna be one shot in with Moonblast. But Ludicolo, C tier. It's kind of near with Sandslash in my opinion. A lot of people think it's good. It's not that good. It doesn't hit hard. Doesn't get scald. So it can't burn. It does get fake out, so it's a fast rain fake out user. But I don't think Ludicolo is that good. And plus, like being weak, being weak to like flying and bug, which are gonna be common types to hit like these new Ogerpons, just not good for Ludicolo, right? And if you want to use grass and water, just use Ogerpon. I think you'll win more games. Shiftry. Shiftry's interesting. Shiftry just got a new ability. I think this is gonna be A tier Pokemon, and this is a hot take. But Wind Rider with this thing and this thing like having Sucker Punch, like Dark Terror Sucker Punch, and you get a plus 1 for being on Tailwind, and you can switch in on like Blizzard, on like Heat Wave, on Bleak Wind Storm, on Icy Wind. That's just amazing for this. Like those moves are really good spread moves that are known for like breaking sashes, and this Pokemon can just ignore it and keep it sash, right? And then just go for like, you know, powered up grass type, dark type moves, and anything else that you can go for with it, right? I think it's gonna be A tier Pokemon in my opinion. I think it's better than these. Let's say high B. It plays this role as being it's actually not a weather Pokemon anymore because it can play on Tailwind. I'll leave it right here for now. I think it might be high B, a little bit better than Sandslash. I think Okidogi might be better than Sandslash too, and then we'll kind of leave it like that. Yeah, I think I want to put it in A, but we haven't seen it use Wind Rider yet, so I can't really say. And I can really judge these Pokemon because I've already seen them play and I've seen how good they can be, plus of what I already think they're gonna be, right? So I haven't seen this thing play, right? It's not legal yet, but I'm interested to see, you know, what it can do. Volbeat. Oops. Did not mean to do that. Sorry about that. So Volbeat is going to be an interesting Pokemon. It's not A tier. Oh, let me recorrect this because this just... I pushed a button on my mouse. And what it pretty much does is it's able to like page back or page forward. So you don't have to always click it, which is, you know... It can be annoying at times when you don't want to like have something like this messed up. Other than that, it's a good feature on my mouse. Sorry about that. Let's set this back up. Okay. All right. So Volbeat, it's gonna be C tier. It fits on teams that want to take advantage of Prankster plus Tailwind. But it has a decent kit, but it has the same kit as Illumise. Illumise has a couple more status moves. I think Illumise is actually a B tier Pokemon. I already made a video that's on my channel, Team Builder for Regulation E, and I was using Illumise because it can get Sunny Day, so it can support Ogerpon, right? Fire Ogerpon. It gets Fake Tears, so it can support Fluttermane on those Sun teams. It gets Tailwind, right? And then you can go with like a coverage move with like Bug Buzz to hit like. Now Bug Buzz hitting off 73 special attack, which is going to be max because you're going to be Focus Sash or max speed on this thing. It's doing decent damage into the Ogerpons, except Fire Ogerpon, right? But even that is still chipping. You could go Encore, or you can go like Bug Buzz. It's still really good. It also gets Dazzling Gleam. You can Terra Ghost it, and now you're able to do pretty well from there. Like this Pokemon is going to be interesting. Don't be surprised if you see this on a ladder, and you might think that your opponent is trolling by using that, but this Pokemon is actually pretty good. So don't let that catch you off guard by not knowing that this Pokemon gets access to like Prankster Tailwind. It pretty much plays like a Whimsicott. It's like a budget Whimsicott. It does a lot of the same things Whimsicott does with Encore, Sunny Day, Fake Tears, and Tailwind, but it just has different typing, right? And Whimsicott has like that Fairy Grass typing, which is like a unique typing but really good, and that hitting like a lot of things are super effective, right? Bug type is not the best, so I would say it's budget Whimsicott, but if you want something to play like a Whimsicott, then there you go. Crawdont, not much to say about this Pokemon. It's D tier. It's a hard hitting water type, but you already know it's a lot of hard hitting water types. Melodic, I think Melodic's gonna be B tier. I might be better than Okidogi, yeah. Melodic could probably be B tier. Melodic it's proven, so it's probably better than Shiftry too. Melodic is a really good Pokemon. Now this Pokemon is going to be good for stopping these Intimidates. Landorus does not want to see this thing on your team. It has a field day with Landorus. It gets access to Icy Wind. It gets access to, let's pull it up real quick. Melodic. Scald. It's one of the few to get Scald. Then you get Ice Beam. You get Icy Wind. You get Hypnosis. Helping Hand, Hypnosis, Haze, Recover, also Life Dew to heal up your teammates. Like this Pokemon gets a really cool kit, right? Like, and now they can't really intimidate your team easily, right? When you got something like this on your team, you can even go with Tickle, which lowers the attack and defense by 1, right? Which is kind of funny. And then you can probably just go Coil too, to also boost your defenses, right, with Marvel Skill, but you want to go competitive. I would go competitive. But yeah, this Pokemon is going to be really good. I don't see any downside to it. I just think that it's kind of one of those Pokemon that you know what it's going to do when you see it in the team preview, right? So it doesn't really have that much surprise factor, but it's going to be pretty consistent, so I think it's a B tier. It's perfect for it. Chimecho is going to be another one of those Team Rocket Pokemon. We'll put it right there with the rest of the crew. Seems like they got a lot of their Pokemon back. It does get Trick Room though, right? So it also can fit on Trick Room teams. It gets Levitate, so it can switch in on ground type moves, which is pretty niche. Torterra gets Shell Smash. I think it's C. It only fits on a team that you want to build around Torterra, right? I would probably say it's right around Snorlax. It's similar to Snorlax, right? It's one of those things where you got to build around it to make it work, right? So it only fits on that team that you build around it. But it's going to want to Shell Smash and go for like, Wood Hammers and Grassy Glass, Earthquake, stuff like that. Grass ground coverage is pretty cool. It's similar to like Rillaboom's coverage, but you get stabbed on the ground, right? You are 4 times weak to ice, which is not good. But other than that, I still think it's a C tier Pokemon. Infernape, my favorite Pokemon. We're going to be biased. It's not S tier, but it's an A tier Pokemon. Now, I'm not just saying it just because Infernape is my favorite Pokemon. Let me just show you what this thing's kit is, which a lot of you probably didn't know. So first off, let's just say we run a Focus Edge, right? It has 2 good abilities, Blaze and Iron Fist. Both of these can be taken advantage of because when you get down to 1 HP with your Focus Sash, you're hitting for a lot with Flare Blitz now, right? And now if you want to go Iron Fist, it boosts your close combat and it boosts your Mach Punch. And this is just the offensive side of Infernape, right? Now another Fernape I've been running is Overheat, because it does get Fake Out, right? So Fake Out, which is really fast Fake Out, and Overheat, right? And now you can really go with now you can go with 2 support moves, right? Make a support Infernape. Now check out this kit, Encore, fast Encore that's not prankster, so you can use it in against like Serena, you can use it in against Farigiraf, you can use it against Indeedee with Psychic Terrain on the field, right? Also Fake Tears to drop special defense, Helping Hand, Nasty Plot if you want to go full special. It gets Slack Off, it can heal itself, Switcheroo to swap items, Swords Dance in case you want to go physical, Taunt to kind of annoy things like Amoonguss and other Pokemon that want to set up, Will-O-Wisp to burn physical attackers, like Scary Face to drop speed and it's a fast Pokemon. Like this Pokemon gets such a cool support kit. Like it has so many different strategies. It also gets bulk up. It's so many different sets that I'm so intrigued to run with, and I can't wait to use it. My first team is going to be built around an Infernape. Hint, hint. It's my favorite Pokemon. It's the first time I've been able to use it since I've been playing VGC. And I started playing VGC in 2020 in Sword and Shield. And Infernape wasn't in Sword and Shield. I had Blaziken, right? And I don't like Blaze. Even though it's the same, Infernape just always has my heart, right? It's my favorite starter. It's my favorite Pokemon overall. In my opinion, it's A tier. Empoleon, also an A tier Pokemon. Now, Empoleon is going to be one of those, I like to call it a Joe UX Pokemon. It's like a really good balanced Pokemon that's going to be on a team that's not like broken, but it's going to be able to like get you a lot of wins because of how consistent it is. It's one of those really consistent Pokemon, right? And like Joe UX, in my opinion, he's one of my favorite streamers, PokeTubers. He uses a lot of consistent Pokemon, right, that consistently are good and not like niche, not like completely broken, but always like just consistently good. And this Empoleon kind of fits that role for me. Them dropping Defiant for competitive was like a huge boon for this Pokemon, right? That's something that it really needed, and I'm really thankful that they did that for this Pokemon. So I do think it's going to be A tier. Also, a lot of people don't know that it can be supportive and not just offensive, or it can be pseudo. Like I'm thinking of a set like Hydro Pump, right? Flash Cannon, Fairy Terror, and Yawn with Protect, right? And now you're kind of playing like an offensive thing because you can't. They don't want to intimidate you, and then you just go like Life Orb, right? So you deal more damage and then Protect. Now you're super offensive, but now you have a defensive mode where you can Yawn and kind of disrupt other teams' Pokemon, right? And I didn't know that this thing got access to Yawn. It's a really good Pokemon, and it can play inside Trick Room, it can play outside Trick Room. It's just really consistent. Ambipom, it's a fake out Pokemon. It's right there with Monkey Dory. I think it's the same as Monkey Dory. You do get fake out and like last resort stuff, which is, you know, kind of niche, but if you want to do that, I would say do it with Kangaskhan, but Kangaskhan's not in the game right now. But it's a fake out user, so just use another fake out user. Like use fake out on Shiftry, you know, and you'll be better off. Use fake out on, you know, with Infernape, much better. Mega, D tier. It's a bug flying type. I really think it should be like Bug Dragon. I think it would be cooler to change the typing from what Yama is, and I think it would go a lot crazier. Like Bug Dragon is like a typing that you don't really. I can't think of anything that's really Bug Dragon, right? I think that's a really good typing, and you can hit Dragon types, you can hit Grass types, you can hit Psychic types. I think that's just really fun coverage, and you get some really like cool resistances to like ground, fire, water, grass. 4 times resistant to grass. You know, it can completely wall. It walls Rillaboom now, but I think, you know, just the Dragon Bug would be really fun for that Pokemon. Gliscor, it's a C Pokemon. It's actually D tier. It is D tier because it's ground flying. Guess what? Just use Landorus. You get Intimidate, and now this thing does get like Hyper Cutter, so it can't be intimidated. But Landorus wants to do the intimidating, right? Like the typing is good, and Landorus didn't exist, and you could probably find more reason to use this because of his typing. But with Landorus in the format, like just use Landorus, you'll be a lot better off. And maybe in like a reduced Dex format, if this is like around, then you can get more use out of it, right? Other than that, like just use Landorus. Mamoswine, B tier Pokemon. It's right there with Melodic. It gets Oblivious, which is really good. It used to threaten Zacian, right, because of the Focus Sash. And also, it can be chipped by Hail back in Gen 8 or Sand, which is hard to like kind of KO with Sash, right? A lot of ways to get rid of Pokemon with Sash was to use one of those Pokemon that have an Ice type or a Rock type move in a Dynamax form, so that you set up the weather. And when you set up the weather, you can chip out Pokemon that have Sash. Like a way to remove Whimsicott was to hit it with a Max Hailstorm, and then it'll die at the end of the turn, or faint at the end of the turn with the Hail, right? Same with Sandstorm. With Mamoswine, with the Sash, you couldn't do that play with it, right? You couldn't knock it out with a Max Hailstorm or Max Rockfall, right? Even though those hit it for neutral and super effective damage. No, they both hit it for neutral, right? Because the ground help you resist the rock for the ice, and then the ice helps you resist the ice for the ground. So they both hit it neutral, so you couldn't knock it out with a one-hit KO like that. So you had to deal with the Sash. And it also got access to like Ice Shard, which was pretty threatening. Coming off, a base 130 attack, and you can't be intimidated. And then you go Icicle Crash. I think this set will still be good now, and then High Horsepower. You could go Earthquake if you have like Flying or Levitate users next to you, and then Protect. And I still think this set is going to be good. It's going to be a really good counter to Rillaboom. Fluttermane gets one shot by this thing, and it's gonna be still fun to use it. Mamoswine is gonna be a really good Pokemon in this format. Probopass, that's D tier. I will put an F, but it's really decently bulky, so you can probably do some bulky stuff with it. Can't really do much more than that. All right. Dusknoir, it's gonna be D tier as well. Like, just use Dusclops. Dusclops is not on this list, but if Dusclops was on this list, it would be up here with Clefairy. Clefairy would probably be B tier. Dusclops would be A tier. It's definitely, one of the best new Trick Room setters that can compete with Cresselia, because Dusclops gets access to Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, Ally Switch, Nightshade, and Trick Room, which is a good set for it. Conkeldurr is falling off a cliff. I think it's D tier. It's probably the best in D tier. Just use Ursaluna. Ursaluna has better typing. She's not one shot by Fluttermane, and you also get like the guts. And I think normal ground coverage is better than just having single fighting coverage, right? So Conkeldurr's D. Ursaluna does the guts thing better. Levani, surprisingly enough, bug and grass coverage seems pretty fun. It is a Sun Abuser. I'll probably put it right there with these. I think it might be a little bit better than these two. And funny enough, it can just one shot both of these, right? With a physical set. It gets Bug Bite, like fast Bug Bite in the sun to eat people's berries is pretty, funny. I think it is niche, but it does fit on some teams. I am gonna try it out too myself, just because I kind of like the idea of like a grass bug type, so I want to see how it does. Swanna, I don't even know what this Pokemon does actually, so let's look it up. I didn't even know what abilities it. Big Pecs. It can't lower his defense, hydration. It has a status cured at the end of the turn, so it's a Rain King. Like, I don't even know what ability you would run. Like, his stats 75, 87, 63, 87, 98. Like, no stats in the 100. 4 times weak to Electric, Tailwind, Roost, Helping Hand. That's it. This Pokemon is complete garbage. This is an F tier Pokemon. I am sorry. It's like worse Pelipper, right? But Pelipper it can bring out the rain. Like, it not having any abilities hurts it really bad, right? It's not good. Mienshao. Mienshao is gonna be an A tier Pokemon. It's right there with Empoleon. Fake Out, Faint. So you can fake them out, right? And if they're afraid of the Fake Out and they just want to protect in front of it, stall it out, you can feint and go for an attack and break the protect. Which those mind games are always, hard to deal with. Close combat with Focus Sash, so you don't care about your stats being dropped. They're really strong coming off this thing's attack stat, right? Alright, so next we have Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz is, I'm gonna say D tier as well. It's one of those wannabe Pokemon. It's a bulky Tailwind setter, a dark flying, Snarl, Foul Play. Just use Galarian Moltres. Not Galarian, yeah, Galar Moltres, yeah. Galar Moltres, dark flying, bulky. Also, is a special attacker, so it's gonna hit more. So just use that. Trevenant's gonna be a C tier for me. It's one of those Pokemon that fits on Trick Room teams, Grass Ghost. It has that one niche where it can go for Forest Curse with Torkoal, turn you into Grass type, so Torkoal can just obliterate you with like Fire type moves, right? But Torkoal already obliterates you with Fire type moves, regardless of this ability, so it's kind of pointless at that point. But it is a good Trick Room setter because it can't be faked out right. So you can go like Mental Herb with this, and with Redirection, and you pretty much always get up Trick Room if you have a good Terra, right? Vikavolt, it's gonna be a B tier for me. It's 145 base special attack. I can't ignore that in a format that doesn't have Dynamax, right? Where they can double their HP. So Vikavolt, Levitate user, so it's immune to ground type moves. You put a Life Orb on this thing, you get you get a min speed one, and then you just have max special attack like 197 coming off Life Orb, like. And also, like I said, bug coverage is going to be good in this format for hitting the Ogre Pawns because they're going to be super common, right? So Bug Buzz, Thunderbolt, Flash Cannon to hit Flutter Mane, Energy Ball if you want to go like Assault Vest. Like now you can hit grass types, water types for super effective. Well, you already can hit them with electric type attacks, right? But you can hit Gastrodon now. But if you don't want to, if you want to just run Protect, then you can drop that for Protect and just hit Gastrodon with a powerful Bug Buzz, right? It's still gonna do decent damage, right? And this Pokemon is it's gonna do a lot of damage. It's gonna be a Trick Room sweeper. I think that you can put it on your team to give you like an answer in the Trick Room. I think it'll be good. Rabombi, it's C tier as well. Right there at Trevenant, it gets Speed Swap. Can't really think of nothing else it really does. It's a fast speed swap user, right? Let me see like if it gets anything different from what it usually does. It is bug and fairy, so it's different unique typing. It has an ability that you can't use. I guess shield does, so it can't be like hit by secondary effects. Oh, Sweetville is probably the best. Oh, those already asleep do not wake up. So you can prevent your team from going to sleep. So I guess that's kind of a niche, but you know, it's base 124, so it's pretty fast. So you just go like this. Let's get Fake Tears, Helping Hand, Quiver Dance is different. Sticky Web. Alright, because the main thing is like skill swap to make things faster, but I don't even know if you just much rather go for Tailwind, right? You're not gonna really be using a skill swap because the format is just too fast. You're gonna skill swap on something and still not be faster than it, right? So I'll say like Tailwind, Helping Hand, Support Kit, and then you can just hit things like chip things with like Dazzling Gleam, Pollen Puff, heal stuff up, and now you get stabbed on Pollen Puff. So I mean, you can go with a set like that. I may try to use it just because I like the fairy typing and the bug. It's interesting, but it's not gonna be that good. I think C tier is good for it. Como-O, it's to be seen whether this Pokemon is gonna be good. I'm hearing a lot of things about it. I'm gonna put it in B tier for now. I do know that you can tear away from the 4x weakness to fairy now, and then you can go for like Clanger Soul like next to Ogerpon, and then just start sweeping things with like Throat Spray with Hyper Voice. Does it get Hyper Voice? Or Boom Burst, that's what it is. Because I mean you can tear it to normal and get that normal type move. Not Totem. Come on, so you want to go with Clangorous Soul. And then you can go Scales, because you're definitely going to want to be a special attack. Clanging Scales. Boom. Does it get Hyper Voice? It does get Hyper Voice. But you probably want to go Boom Burst, which is stronger, like next to a Ghost type. Like this next to Flutter Mane is going to be doing like crazy damage. Right? And then you could go Protect. You could go something to hit fairies like Flash Cannon. You could go your Fighting Stab so you can hit Steel types, so you're not walled by Steel types. And then you're gonna want to go overcoat, so you're just like immune to like rage powder and spore and stuff like that. I think it's gonna be a decent Pokemon. Still haven't seen it yet. It has got some results in like tournaments and stuff, but it's to be determined. I'm gonna try to build a team around it myself because I think it's an interesting, unique Pokemon. And based off that, when I do another, ranking of all the Pokemon in Regulation D, we'll see if it makes A tier. Dang, what's this bird's name? I forgot this bird name. I know it has the ability where it uses Surf, and then Pikachu goes in his mouth, and if you hit it, then you get paralyzed, right? Cramorant. That's what it is. Goat Missile. It's a unique ability. Its Pokemon stats just aren't there, right? 85 special attack, not ideal. 85 speed. Like, everything just ends in the 5 except its HPs. This Pokemon's gonna get one shot by everything. It's not worth using, even with its unique ability. If it gave, I think it's the only one that can have that ability too. I think they just need to give it a buff or give it an evolution, right? And I think it could be better. But it's a water flying, so like if you want to use water flying, just use Pelipper, right? If you want to get speed control, just use Pelipper with Tailwind, right? Then you'll be better off. All right, so we're getting down to the nitty gritty. So the little Pikachu clone, Dark and Electric. It's funny I forgot these two Morpeko. That's his name. The two with the unique abilities from Gen 8, I forgot both of their names because you don't really see them. This Pokemon, 95 attack is okay, 95 speed is decent. I like that it gets Aura Wheel, right? That changes and gets it a speed boost. Like, this is a broken move right here, right? But other than that, that's his only niche. It does get quick attack, knock off, foul play. I think it can be a decent support Pokemon. Let's see what it gets. Parting Shot, Taunt. It's decent. It's not the worst Pokemon. I would say D tier because there's just so many Pokemon that want to do it better. It's probably right there like Pheasantipity as far as like how strong it is. But there's nothing much really more to say about that. And last but not least, we have Blood Moon Ursaluna. It's gonna be our final S tier. I think it's the best. Ogerpon might be the best. I think it's the second best Pokemon that's on this list. What do I have to say about this? Like, this thing is gonna be incredible. Ursaluna was crazy. They pretty much kept Ursaluna good, but also made it a special attacker and added a better ability. This thing can hit ghost types, right? So it's like Scrappy, and then it's also like Keen Eye, and then it ignores evasionist, right? Which is crazy. Like, this thing, everything focuses on its eye. So I said that you want to go Hyper Voice. Actually, you could go Blood Moon. One interesting set that I'm thinking about is with Leftovers, Earth Power, and Calm Mind, Protect. And you can get away with the Blood Moon because you can't use it. It's kind of like Gigaton Hammer by just protecting or going for a Calm Mind, right? In the turn that you can't click it, or you can just go for Earth Power. But if you can't hit them, you got things to stall out that turn. Plus, you're gonna want to protect even with your leftover recovery, right? And then you can probably just go like Ghost Terror, so you can't be faked out, right? And now this is like a really good set. You can go more defensive Terror too. You can probably go Water too, if you want. Even maybe not Water, maybe Fairy. Yeah, maybe Fairy might be one of the better Terror types because you're already weak to Grass, and you don't want to just keep taking damage from Rillaboom and Terror on the water already. So Fairy Terror or Poison Terror might be good for it. Poison might even be better. All right, and now you can get off your Calm Minds and deal a lot of damage. And ground coverage is pretty common, but psychic coverage is not. And if you have like Intimidate, you can get around like the ground coverage from like Landorus and stuff like Rillaboom. Like Landorus and Rillaboom are really the only ones clicking like high horsepower and stumping Tantrum, right? So, and then you just beat them with hitting them with Blood Moon. I think this is gonna be a really good Pokemon. You could drop Blood Moon, go with Hyper Voice, but if you just want to like one shot things with Calm Mind, then go with Blood Moon. And you can even just drop the ground coverage and just go straight normal moves. Like You don't have to worry about being walled by ghosts because your ability allows you to hit ghosts. Like this Pokemon is gonna be incredible, and I can't wait to use it. But that's gonna be it for this list. Let me guys know what you think. If if we're spot on with it, take your screenshots, do whatever you need to do. Let me know. We'll come back to this list at the end of Regulation E and see how accurate it was in comparing, all of these to what they turned out to be. I do think that this Ogerpon may raise to B if people find out how to use it, and some of these may raise up to A depending on how good they are, and some may drop. If anything was to drop, maybe Vikavolt might drop. Other than that, I think this is pretty accurate. Let me know what you guys think in the comment below. Leave a like if you like these type of videos, and I'm gonna catch you all in the next one. All right, deuces.